So because they are a hot stock, we look at all the industries within Malaysia and we see what are being shunned. So this is the Bursa Malaysia sector, kind of like the classification. Now, I'll be very honest with you, the Bursa Malaysia sector classification is 80-90% wrong. And I can tell you why, okay? Consumer products and services. Do you know Proton and Nestle are in the same category? So when you have Proton and Nestle, which are in completely different industries, but they're lumped together at the same sector, can you imagine the benchmarks, the way you categorize, the way you classify and all that is already, peer benchmarking is already wrong. I plead with investors, if you were to do peer benchmarking, you really need to go nitty-gritty into the weeds. And nitty-gritty into the weeds is understanding each business model of each company, because some may overlap, some may be a good peer analysis comparison, but most of them is not. Okay. Now, as I've shown you, the export market for Malaysia, a lot of it boils down to tech, technology, semicon, or back-end semicon. These industries become what I call hot industries. Telecommunications, media, technology, even utilities. Why I say utilities? Everyone's talking about solar, renewable energy, you know. Companies that don't really make good margins like Solar Vast and all that, they're just being pumped up, Samaidan, being pumped up because why? Hype of ESG, hype of solar, hype of new renewable energy. So as investors, I don't like to go where everybody is crowding. It's hot. In a boring industry where growth is not expected to be that prominent, I think it's important to have these companies to have very strong balance sheets, and strong net cash position is exactly what they. And if you say it's a value trap, I disagree. Why? The history of the dividend policy payout ratio is anywhere between 41 to 65%. Which means whatever money that they're making, they're paying 40 to 65% payout, right? That means they're not keeping that much for themselves. You know, a lot of companies, they have net cash, high NTA, right? Net cash. And yet don't want to pay dividends, don't want to invest in CapEx, don't want to invest in growth. Those are value traps. My assessment is very simple. If you don't know what to do with the money, you're not spending on CapEx, and then you start paying your directors very high, red flag. But if they don't pay me dividend, but yet every year I see the CapEx growing, and then revenue growing, they may take a hit on the margins, they may take a hit on the profit. I'm happy. I'm really happy. To invest well, you need to be a contrarian versus a consensus. Okay. So when I say contrarian, it's really, I just showcase on the top. Don't go for the hot guys. Everyone's talking about the hot guys. That's the consensus. You have to be a contrarian. You have to learn how to appreciate the unloved and underappreciated kind of companies. You know, boring crap, you know, growing at like 5-6% a year or that kind of thing. Okay. Next, most companies can be bought at the right price. Okay. At the right price. Okay. And here's the beauty, and a lot of people wouldn't practice this. Sad to say, it's like hard work is also your advantage and friend. Now, was it difficult for me to dig up this? Yes, it is not as easy as it is. For the experienced investor, which you take years and years to hone in on what is important, what are the key levers, understanding the industry dynamics, that actually takes a lot of time. But if the company is not solid, you've seen some companies like Hong Seng, right? Boom, go up, bum, come down. That's not sustainable. We don't want to invest in that kind of company. We want to invest in companies that slowly and steadily at the back and behind the scenes, they're really expanding the business, and you know the earnings are going to come through in the future. Those are the companies you want to invest in.